Then now I'll have to go to YouTube. Oh boy. YouTube. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Edit video. All right, we're trying to get back online on YouTube, which is why we have the pause. Let me have to put part 2. Are you watching part 2? Let me save that. And that should be good. So we get back. Yeah, so the devil is trying his best as a roaring lion to see who he can devour. But we have to be sober. We have to be sober and be vigilant. What does it mean to be sober? Sober there is nepho, of uncertain affinity, to abstain from wine. And if you understand wine, we know the wine of Babylon, the drunkenness of this system. To abstain from wine, to keep sober, that is figuratively be discreet, be sober, watch. You see this word here again? Watch. This is where we're going to eventually go. Watch. We're laying the foundation. Watch. But while we are watching, remember, his judgments are now even worse than in the Old Testament. You see, people are running to the New Testament away. Hey boy. I'm not laughing at people. I'm laughing at how powerful the words are. I'm just laughing at how powerful the words are and how deceived we are. Now, people are running away from the Old Testament. Some even say, oh, we are New Testament only. Not knowing that in running away from the Old Testament, that the New Testament judgments are even worse than in the Old Testament. And we looked at it earlier. Yes? Hebrews 10:28. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sorer punishment? So verse 28 is the Old Testament. Verse 29 is the New Testament. He says the punishment is sorer. Of how much sorer punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden underfoot the son of Alua? So now we are in the New Testament and we have Hamashiach. The treatment is worse for treading upon Hamashiach than it is for treading upon the law. And the people in the world have it flipped upside down. They think that the punishment in the law was worse than it is for punishment for despising Hamashiach. Of how much sorer punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden underfoot the son of Alua, and hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Ruach of favor. You have despised Ruach HaKadosh. Ruach of favor is Ruach HaKadosh. You have blasphemed Ruach HaKadosh by sinning willfully. Hamashiach said what? All manner of blasphemy will be forgiven. But blasphemy of against Ruach HaKadosh, there shall be no forgiveness. So when we say we become believers, and we despise the Ruach by despising the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Anyway, let me not say anything. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me, I will recompense, saith Yahuwah. And again Yahuwah shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living Alua. Worse than the Old Testament. So in order to avoid all of this, we have to watch. We have to watch. And here's the meaning of watch from the Old Testament. Mishmereth, watch, that is the act, custody, or concretely the sentry, the post, objectively preservation, or concretely safe. Figuratively observance, that is abstractly duty or objectively a usage or party. Charge, keep, to be kept, office, ordinance, safeguard, ward, watch. We're going to use it and see. So the importance of watching, let's look at the importance of watching. Just like last week, we'll use something in Lamentations. I think last week we did Lamentations 1:16. We're going to use an account in the book of 2 Kings to show watching, to show what we should do. Because we're going to show this and see how it plays out spiritually when it comes to Hamashiach. Because remember, we're talking about Hamashiach and how important it is for us to not blaspheme Ruach HaKadosh by despising the Yahushua Hamashiach, and or despising Ruach HaKadosh, even by sinning willfully, by going back into sin. So 2 Kings 11, verses 4 to 11. Listen to this very carefully, please. Joash anointed king in Judah. This was when this woman called Athaliah was reigning, the mother of Ahaziah. She destroyed all the seed. But Yehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash and hid him in the bedchamber of Athaliah, so that he was not slain. So Athaliah was trying to kill him, and they say the best place to hide something is in plain sight. It says, in the same bedchamber of Athaliah, he was hidden. Yeah? And he was with her hid in the house of Yahuwah 6 years, while Athaliah reigned. Now listen to this. And the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds, with the captains and the guards, and brought them to him into the house of Yahuwah, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of Yahuwah, and showed them the king's son. So in the 7th year, 7 is Yahuwah's number, perfect number. He sent for the rulers and the captains and the guards, and brought them into the house of Yahuwah, and made a covenant with them. So when we are in the new covenant, we're going to see that this has to do with our new covenant in Hamashiach. Our task, as we have said before, is to guard his commandments, is to protect his commandments, is to keep his commandments, protect his name. Verse 5. And he commanded them, saying, this is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. We are called to be keepers of the watch of Yahuwah's house, of Yahusha's body, which is his assembly. So we are called to be keepers of the watch of the king's house. Now, if you are not in an assembly, how can you be keepers of the watch in the king's house? Everything that has to do with the Most High, nothing has to do with selfishness. The Most High says, gather together. Let me continue. And a third part shall be at the gate of Sur, and the third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep the watch of the house, that it be not broken down. So 1/3 shall be here, 1/3 there, 1/3 there, because everyone has a different calling. Yes? Whatever calling we have, we are going to keep the charge according to our calling. And according to our calling, we have to make sure that we keep the watch, that the house of the Most High be not broken down. So we have to protect the name of the Son of Yahuwah, so that the house of Yahuwah is not broken down. Verse 7. And 2 parts of all you that go forth on the Shabbat, even they shall keep the watch of the house of Yahuwah about the king. So these are some of them who will be guarding the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, who will be guarding around the king, who is HaMashiach. That is why for someone like me, I have to be speaking almost every week, guarding the name of HaMashiach, trying to show people who HaMashiach is, trying to correct the errors. If you go on our Just the Word shorts, we have so many videos there trying to guard HaMashiach. Verse 8, and he shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. So we have to guard HaMashiach, even though it might at times be unpleasant. That is why I tell you, when you are working under the leading of the Ruach Mashiach, you will sometimes be called proud, you will be sometimes be called harsh, you will sometimes be called hard, you will sometimes be called whatever they want to call you. Why? Because when that Ruach is leading you, when HaMashiach is in you, if HaMashiach is angry, you are not going to be able to come across nice and exactly smooth all the while. Yes? So HaMashiach in us, we with our weapons in our hands will be protecting HaMashiach. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. So when you are watching for HaMashiach, it is not always going to be nice and pleasant. We're talking spiritually here. Sometimes it's going to come hard. And be ye with the king as he goeth out and as he cometh in. What does this mean for us spiritually? HaMashiach promised that if you keep his commandments, that his Father would love you, and he will love us, and he and his Father would do what? Make their abode with us. So they will dwell in us. So, and be ye with the king as he goeth out and as he cometh in. So Ruach HaMashiach must be with us always. We cannot despise his Ruach, and so that Ruach leaves us. What verse did I say I was going? 11. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Yahweh the priest commanded, and they took every man his men that were to come in on the Shabbat. And notice all that I'm talking to you about is taking place on the Shabbat. Sometimes the Ruach will act. I remember being with believers, and on the Shabbat the Ruach would do certain things. And they would say, but this is the Shabbat. You can't talk about that on the Shabbat. So people being in wrong behavior, and the Ruach is speaking to them on the Shabbat to correct their behavior, they're saying, don't talk about that on the Shabbat. But everything that is taking place here is on the Shabbat, and it says, every man with his weapon in his hands. On the Shabbat. And they took every man his men that were to come in on the Shabbat, with them that should go out on the Shabbat, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give David spears and shields that were in the temple of Yahuwah. And the guard stood, every man with his weapons in his hand. This is how we guard the word of Yahuwah. This is what prevents us from sinning. This is what prevents us from tripping up and transgressing. This is what prevents us from blaspheming the Ruach when we are guarding every man with his weapon in his hand. And we know what is our weapon. And take the sword of the Ruach, which is what? The word of Yahuwah. So the word of Yahuwah is our weapon. Every man with his weapon in his hand. Round about the king, so we will be protecting the name and the word of Hamashiach. From the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. So we have to guard at all times. When we are guarding, we will be protecting. When we are protecting, we are protected. In basketball, they tell you the best defense is a strong offense. So when you are guarding, when you are paying attention to guarding the words of a Mashiach, then you will actually be protecting yourselves from blaspheming Ruach HaKadosh. So many believers, we are just believers and we sit and we go through. You see, when you are believers and you're on the internet, you're on Facebook going through, and you're all over doing all sorts of garbage. Yes? Not having anything to do with the word and the will of the Most High. That is when the devil will come in and trip you up. So if we are watching, guess what? If we are watching, because many people, this is an insight for many people. Many people are saying that they are not hearing from the Most High. Many people are asking, how can I get to hear from the Most High? If you are watching, you will eventually hear from the Most High. Habakkuk 2, verse 1. If you are watching, you will eventually hear from the Most High. Habakkuk 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say. Remember, these are physical things that they are doing, but we are getting the spiritual insights from it. And will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So Habakkuk says he will stand upon his watch and will watch to see what he will say. So what he's actually saying, he'll patiently watch and wait on the Most High for the Most High to answer him. Many of us, we want instant answers. Sometimes the answers will take weeks, even months, sometimes even years before the Most High answers you. Yes? He says he will stand on his watch and see. And what happened? Verse 2. And Yahuwah answered me. So if we are watching, Yahuwah will eventually answer us. And Yahuwah answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. So many of the times when we are in this walk, what we are asking the Most High, it is not for this time. It is for an appointed time. But at the end, when the time comes, it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So we do not have to be impatient. We have to just sit and watch and wait what the Most High will say. Though it tarry, wait for it. Wait for it. We have to learn to wait, and that comes with what? Patience, self-control, long-suffering. We have to be able to wait. For those who don't wait, verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his emunah. So those who do not wait will be lifted up, will be proud, and will not be just, will not be righteous. The righteous are able to watch. The righteous are able to patiently wait on Yahuwah. But those who are lifted up, those who will not wait, their souls are not upright in them. So we must watch and be sober, lest we get caught up in drunkenness. Remember, we looked at sober earlier. We must watch and be sober, lest we get caught up in drunkenness. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So today, our drunkenness is in Babylon. Babylon has given us religions, has given us ways of life that makes us drunken. That makes us drunken and staggering. And when you're staggering, you cannot remember certain things. You do nothing but foolishness. You are tossed to and fro. You keep repeating the same garbage over and over again. Hey. It was yesterday I was with a drunken man. Man, that was a trip. To see the transformation of the personality. Yeah, man was a quiet man, and when the man drinks, whole different personality. This is what happens to us. Drunkenness changes us. So we have to watch and be sober, or else we will get caught up in drunkenness. Because the whole world is drunken. Job 12:24. This is speaking about the Most High. It says, He taketh away the heart of the chief people of the earth, and causeth them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. This is what the Most High does. They grope in the dark without light, and He maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. This is what the Most High does to the world. And remember, Job 9:24 says what? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the wicked are those whose hearts are taken away, the chief people of the earth, and it causes them to wander. Now, when these people are wandering and they are leading us, we are actually believing them. The greatest problems we have is people online who don't realize that the people who are leading this world are actually blinded. They believe that the people in this world know what they're doing because these are the doctors, these are the rich billionaires, they are the people who have all the sense, the most educated people, according to them. Yes? But they don't know that the Most High takes away the heart of the chief people of the earth. The leaders, their hearts are taken away, and when they lead us where? Into blindness. Into blindness. And because we are blinded, we also are groping in the dark. And if we are groping in the dark, it means that we will not be what? Watching. We will not be what? Sober. We will be what? Drunken. Caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon. And where did that come from? For us as a people, the children of Yasharal, in our captivity, we were made drunken and we were blinded. The Most High told us that in Isaiah 29. Let's go to verse 9 to 14. Isaiah 29. In our captivity, we were blinded. What did I say? Verse what? 14. 9 to 14, yeah. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Remember, watch and be sober. This here happened to us in our captivity. But the Most High has been merciful to us in that He says, blindness in part has happened to Yasharal until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. He is now awakening us. And when He awakens us, guess what? We are caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon. He awakens us and we realize, you know what? Man, Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand to make the earth drunken. The earth has become drunken, therefore the world is mad. That means me being in the midst of Babylon, I'm caught up in Babylon's drunkenness. Huh? I have to say no, I have to come out of this drunkenness. Verse 9, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Yahuwah hath poured upon you the ruach of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. So, on the internet today, you have a plethora of people calling themselves prophets. Too many, too much. The Most High says, he hath closed your eyes and the eyes of the prophets and the rulers. The seers he hath covered. So when you come into the truth and you find a place for truth, I tell you, stay there and try to get the truth, lest you be caught up again in the drunkenness. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one another, to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed. This is how the Most High blinded our people back then. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned. So even those who are learned and those who are not learned, all of them cannot understand the book. Wherefore Yahuwah said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips to honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. This is when we are in modern religion now. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. This is what happened to us. But the Most High promised to turn it around. Isaiah 49, verse 22. What we're going to look at is, now that he has turned it around, what are we to do? Thus saith Yahuwah, Aluah, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles, and set up my standard to the people. And they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am Yahuwah, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Watching and waiting, we will not be ashamed. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith Yahuwah, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save thy children. This is us. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh. This is the retribution, turning things around. And they shall be drunken with their own blood. So the drunkenness is going to be turned around on them. As with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I, Yahuwah, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. All right? So, our restoration now. So we're in captivity, we were blinded. Now, he's telling us that he's going to take us out, and he's going to turn it around. And verse 21 says, Isaiah 51 verse 21, therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy master Yahuwah, and thy Aluah that pleaseth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt drink no more drink it again. This is what is happening today. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. That is what is coming up for them, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over it. So this is what is happening today. This is what is being turned around. So while this is being turned around and this is promised to us, and now we do know now who we are, what is laid up for us, what does it behove us to do? The word says, watch yourselves. Watch yourselves. Luke 21:34-38. This is something that we speak about over and over again. Watching yourselves. Luke 21:34-38. We're going to look what watching yourselves mean. Luke 21:34-38. And we've done this so many times. People, you know this by heart. So I don't think I'll labor with it. And take heed to yourselves. Take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged. So this is a problem now. Remember we spoke about Ruach HaKadosh, and we spoke about it last week about having Ruach HaKadosh. What we're speaking about this week is how to preserve Ruach HaKadosh and how to not do despite unto Ruach HaKadosh, how to not blaspheme Ruach HaKadosh, and that is done by watching. Watching. Lest your heart be overcharged with surfeiting, which is greediness and excess, and drunkenness that we spoke about, the drunkenness and the ways of the lifestyle of Babylon, and the cares of this life, so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the earth. This is what we want. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. What we want to look at is the meaning of watch here. Watch ye therefore. The meaning of watch. In Luke 21:36. Agrupeno. To be sleepless. That is, keep awake. To be sleepless. That is, keep awake. To be sleepless. Therefore, in keeping the ways of the Most High, we have to be sleepless, diligently seeking out the ways of the Most High. To make sure we do not transgress against Ruach, we have to be sleepless. For me, for example, as a person who is teaching, as a person who is leading, I have learned that I have to be sleepless. I have to consider, let me tell you something, we are servants. We have to consider ourselves. A lot of things you hear me speaking are things that I did not know or understand before. Only in recent times, Most has been teaching me, giving me this understanding. For me to be watching, I have to be, can I get that verse? Let me show you. Let me get that verse to show you me right here. What they call him again? What verse is that? Let me get it. Let me show you people like us, and then I'll show you people like those of you who are listening. Matthew 13:32. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So not even the Son knows, but only the Father. Go figure, Yahusha is Yahuwah. Ripped up and destroyed by this one verse. Anyway, take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. What does watch mean? It means to be sleepless. To be sleepless. To keep awake. So take ye heed, be sleepless and pray, for you know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is a man taking a far journey, who left his house What is the house of the Most High? This is his assembly. So this would be like for people like me who are teachers, people who might have people leading. He left his house and gave authority to his servants and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Let's break it down. He left his house, which is his assembly, and gave authority to his servants, which means everyone in the assembly is given authority, and to every man his work. So every man is given a task in the assembly to accomplish. And commanded the porter to watch. Who is the porter? Let's look at the meaning of the word porter. Porter there is a watcher, a gate warden, the person that keeps the door. Let me get it on the screen. So the porter, thuros, a watcher, a gate warden that kept the door, porter. This would be like the teachers, the leaders, the pastors, whatever you want to call them, the shepherds. These are the porters that are given to watch. Watch ye therefore, guard therefore, be sleepless therefore. Let me see if it's the same meaning of watch here, because there are different meanings. To keep awake, that is watch, literally or figuratively. Be vigilant. Yes. So watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. If we don't watch, people, we are going to be blinded. All right. All right. Let me go back now to Isaiah 49:26. No, that's not where I was. I was at the meaning of watch. All right. So we must always keep awake. This I say then, Galatians 5:16, walk in the ruach, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So we must always keep awake. Romans 13:14, but put ye on the Master Yahushua HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. That is how you keep awake. That is how we keep awake. By putting on the Master Yahushua HaMashiach. Remember, keeping awake has to do with Ruach HaKadosh. It has to do with not blaspheming the Ruach. So we have to put on a Mashiach, which means we have to walk as he walked, yes, and put on all his teachings, all his instructions, and make not provision for the flesh. So the importance of being sober while watching. So we can be watching because many people here on this call today are watching. You're watching the times. You're seeing what's happening in the world. You're talking about what's happening. Yeah? We are watching. And we say, hey, many people in the world are watching. They say, hey, come now, Yahusha. But they're watching, but they're still caught up in the drunkenness of this world. How many times a year people, Christians talking about they want Jesus to come back? Are they waiting on the rapture? But they're caught up in the drunkenness. When you are watching, you have to be sober. You cannot be caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon and be watching, or else you'll be wasting your time. The word says, watch and be sober. 1 Thessalonians 5:5. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. So we are children of righteousness and not the children of sin. Darkness is sin. Therefore, because we are children of righteousness and not children of sin, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So let us not sleep, which means let us not take everything for granted and just go about our lives, sleeping with the times. But let us watch and be sober. The word sober there. Nepho, to abstain from wine. I'm saying it again. That is figuratively be discreet, be sober. To abstain from wine means to abstain from the drunkenness. That is why for us today, spiritually, it is coming out of Babylon, out of the midst of Babylon, because Babylon makes you drunk. So now that you know that the time is approaching to the end, and you are children of righteousness, let us not sleep, but let us watch and be sober, come out of the drunkenness of Babylon. So, sober or drunken. For they that sleep, sleep in the night. And they that be drunken are drunken in the night. So those that sleep, those that are slumbering, who are caught off guard, who are actually lulled to sleep by the system just gets you involved in its routine and doing the same thing over and over again. You are not alert. You are no longer focused on the end times. How many people woke up in 2022? How many people are still as vigilant as they were? You know that a lot of people woke up during the injection and the disease time. A lot of the people who did that, a lot of them have, backslidden. A lot of them have now gone into apathy. A lot of them going all over the place. A lot of them, not many of them are not sleeping. And they that be drunken are drunken in the night. We are drunken because we are following the ways of Babylon and led by our own lustful desires and being led by this, the sinful man. The law of sin and death is leading us, and we are drunken in the night. We are drunken in sin. But let us who are of the day be sober. Those of us who are righteous and seeking righteousness, we must come out of the drunkenness. We must be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love. So faith and love must be guiding us, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. What is this saying for us? Was it last week we spoke about the hope of salvation, which is what? Zion. So Zion, the hope of Zion is our helmet. Faith and love are our breastplate, so nobody can hit us in the chest. Yeah? And we are sober because we are of the day of righteousness. For Allure hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach. So this is our aim. This is our aim, to attain salvation through HaMashiach. And because of that, we have to put on faith and love and our hope of Zion on our heads, to protect our heads. And you know, our heads, what's the importance of protecting our heads? Our heads are from where we think. That is where we make decisions. So Zion is on our mind, and therefore we will be doing what? We will be asking the way to Zion with our faces thitherward. Asking for us. Our whole aim is to make an everlasting covenant with Yahuwah. Verse 10, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. And I'm telling you that Shaul is so intelligent, boy. He's playing with the word wake and sleep here. So wake and sleep has a different meaning here. When he says whether we wake or sleep, he's speaking about wake here means being alive or sleep meaning dead. So whether we are alive or we are asleep or we are dead, we should live together with him, because in the previous verse, 1 Thessalonians 4, he spoke about the dead in Messiah rising first. That is why he gave this to us. But watch and keep yourselves from the drunkenness of Babylon. This is what this is saying. Keep yourselves from the drunkenness. Let us who are of the day, us who are of righteousness, us who are sober, let us put on the breastplate of righteousness. So we have to do what? Watch. We have to watch. I think we did this before. Matthew 13, 32 to 37. Let me see if we did it. Yeah, we did it. So we have to watch. So we must be ready. We must be ready. For this end time, we have to understand, when you talk to many believers, what do they say? Oh, we will get there. Oh, one day I will get there. One day I will this. It has to be now. Remember we told you about Ruach HaMashiach. We tell you that Ruach HaMashiach acts in an instant. Bam. In a moment. In the twinkle of an eye. If we are not ready, we are going to get hit. We must be ready. Luke 12, 35 to 48. Luke 12, 35 to 48. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning. When your light is burning, that means what? You are awake. You are ready. And ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their master, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. People, how many of us are actually watching? I don't know if this teaching has gelled in your mind as yet. It is actually saying that you have to shore up yourself with Ruach HaKadosh to make sure you do not transgress the Ruach. And you also have to be ready. You have to be watching. You have to be awake. You cannot be asleep. You have to be ready to open unto Yahusha immediately, because at the time when you least expect, that is when he will come. And he is not only speaking about at the end of the world. It can happen anytime in your lifetime. At any time in your life, the Most High can say, okay, that's it. And you see the Ruach HaMashiach executing before your eyes, as we saw earlier, doing a work, as it was written in the prophets, a work that you cannot even imagine. Even though you see it, you cannot believe it. Let me read it again. And ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their master, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Barak are those servants, this is us, whom the master when he cometh shall find watching. Keep awake. That is watch, literally or figuratively. Be vigilant. Watching. Are you watching? Are you watching? Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. So he will come and serve us if he finds us watching. That's the great honor that comes with watching. And if he shall come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them so, Barak are those servants. But, on the other hand, and this know, that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not suffered his house to be broken through. Be ye therefore ready also. For the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not. We have to watch. And we've been hearing these things for our entire lives almost. But he's giving us this time. Yes? Let me continue. Then Kepha said unto him, Master, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even at all? And the master said, Who then is that faithful and wise steward? No, I did this already, right? No. No, this is the part that I wanted. And the master said, Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his master shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? This is people like us, like me, rather. Steward, whom his master shall make ruler over his household, over his assembly, to give them their portion of meat in due season. And the meat, of course, has to do with the word. Barak is that servant whom his master, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. So this is the great promises, the great barakah that awakes people like us who are rulers over the Most High's household. Wow. But there's the other side to it. Here's the other side now. But, and if that servant say in his heart, My master delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink, and to be drunken, the master of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. Whoa. Most time, you don't have to be so practical. You didn't have to be so practical. Wow. So this is the danger for people like us who are leading. So now, you have so many people in this world who are doing this, making themselves drunken, eating and drinking, enjoying themselves at the mercy of other believers. And yet still they continue to live just like that, and nothing happens to them. They don't know that Hamashiach says, He will come in a day and he looketh not for him. So that is why those of us, that is why James said, Be not many masters, which means be not many teachers, because you know we shall receive the greater condemnation. It is harder for us. So, as I always say, everybody wants to teach. You have no idea of the burden. If you knew what came with teaching, you would run from it. And when Yahweh is calling for you to run, you'd be like Jonah running from teaching. That's the tremendous burden that comes with it. Because if you mess yourself with it, Hamashiach is going to be your enemy. And I've seen this. Hamashiach will be your enemy if you mess with his assembly. And that servant, which knew his master's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. And this goes for all of us now. We know what is demanded or required of us, yeah? But we don't do the will of the Most High. He says we shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. So we spend the time, much of our time, speaking about people who are blinded, who do not understand. We speak about Christians who are lost. and we don't realize that they are in better position than us if we are not doing the master's will. If they are doing the will of the master with the little that they know, they are doing better than us not knowing anything. But we having all of this knowledge and not doing the master's will, we are going to get a big whipping. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. So those of us now, you are watching this and you say you know the name and you know this and you have understanding on this and this and that. You had better make it translate into you doing the will of the Most High. You had better make it translate from not just knowing the word, but being a doer of the word. You had better let it translate in your actions, or else, woe be unto you. I'm telling you. So, you know what? The Most High is very gracious. And the Most High helps us, as we have been reading here, by sending us leaders who are more accountable for us than him. If we go and look back at the steward, it says, look at this. Who then is that faithful and wise steward? Steward. The word steward there is, let me get it on the screen, oikonomos, a house distributor, that is manager or overseer. That is an employee in that capacity. That is speaking to people they call pastors or teachers. That is an employee in that capacity, by extension, a fiscal agent, treasurer, figuratively, a preacher of the good news. Chamberlain, governor, steward, a preacher of the good news. So, that preacher, look at this. What I want to show you. Oh, come on. What I want to show you. Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his master shall make ruler over his household? Hamashiach always gives us someone to rule over his assembly. We have to be assembled together, and then there is one person who is given the responsibility of being ruler over the household. And the reason for that, as you have already spoken, is to make sure that everybody stays in line. That person is responsible for watching your soul. That's just how it is. We cannot make it any other way. So when you awaken, you have to be assembled with someone. You either have to be that person who is called to lead, or you are being led. But many people just go out and renegade and all over the place and refuse to be led, to be in subjection in the Messiah's assembly. So the Most High helps us by sending pastors and teachers to watch over our souls. Let me get this thing straightened out. I see why. Yes, so he sends pastors and teachers to watch over our souls. Ephesians 4:11-16. So we're talking about watching, but we cannot watch on our own. He gives us people. Notice the parables here. First one, he gave a porter who is over the household. This one, he gives a steward over the household. With everything, the Messiah has people who are over his assembly, over his household. Ephesians 4:11. This is very, very lacking on the internet, which is why we talk about it, or which is why the Most High is making us talk about it so often. People need to find their lane, find your pastor, find your teacher. Come off the internet and stop roving around the internet like a renegade, like an outlaw. Ephesians 4:11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. Look at this. He gave some apostles, and we know the apostles. He gave some prophets, we know the prophets. He gave some evangelists. Evangelists are responsible for being criers, for actually holding out the word to you. Yes? Because evangelist here is the word, a preacher of the gospel. So these evangelists will be people who will be going out and preaching the words on the highways and the byways. And some pastors and teachers. Now, this pastors and teachers here, one person. Some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers. Pastors and teachers here, pastors are shepherds and teachers are instructors. The shepherd will instruct. So the shepherd will be a teacher instructing his flock. You cannot be a pastor if you cannot instruct. How can you be a shepherd if you cannot tell the sheep what the sheep is to do? If you don't know what to do with the sheep, how can you be a shepherd? So when you are alone, where are your pastors and teachers? We know evangelists are there because you cannot believe, as we said earlier, unless you hear, and you cannot hear unless you have a preacher, and you cannot have a preacher unless he be sent. But what about your pastors and teachers when you are alone? These are the porters that Hamashiach put in the parable, and the stewards that he put in the parable. These are they. These are who are over his assembly. The apostles are there to give you the general word. The prophets are there to highlight what is to come. The evangelists are there to preach to you so you hear and fear and hear and learn and fear and do. And the pastors and teachers are there as your shepherds, your guides, and your instructors. And why does he give us this? And of course, you have this misunderstanding in Christianity, where every church, they try to have apostles and prophets and evangelists and pastors and teachers in there. So you have 1 million apostles now because they think every church must have apostles. This is crazy. There is one body, and Hamashiach's body, yes, has been from time began. Yes, there are scattered assemblies, but it's still one body. So it's the same apostles, the same prophets. The only thing different is the evangelists now and the pastors and teachers who are for this time. For the perfecting, and he tells you, for the perfecting of the saints. So you cannot be perfected without that. And for today, you cannot be perfected without this. So without your pastor and teacher, you're not going to be ready for Hamashiach. For the perfecting of the saints, because Hamashiach says, be ye therefore what? Perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So if you are not perfect, as your Father which is in heaven is perfect, where are you going? For the work of the ministry, so how can you do the work of the ministry without these? We know everyone has these, but what about these? For the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. So these, we are edified here, but today we need these to be edified, because we are being edified today by looking at the words of the apostles, and we are looking at the words of the prophets. Yeah? But today we are doing the work of evangelists. We are preaching the word. Yes? And we are pastors and teachers. For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. So how can you be perfected as a saint? How can you be edified in the body of Hamashiach if you refuse to be in Yahusha's assemblies? If you refuse to assemble with his people. Till we all come in the unity of the... Till we all come in the unity of the Emunah. The unity. We have to be one. You cannot be a lone ranger out there doing your own thing and saying, oh, Yahuwah, talk to me, and I'm listening, and I'm waiting to hear from Yahuwah, and I'm this or that. You cannot be doing that because the Most High has set up this for you. He set all this up for you. You are going to come with your invention because you want to act... Let me not say it. Many people want to act super spiritual, overthinking this as if Yahuwah is going to change his system and come to them and pander to them. Yahuwah has an order. Till we all come in the unity of the Emunah and of the knowledge of the Son of Alua. So without all of these, you cannot come to the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach. Unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach. Over verse 16. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine. That's what's happening on the internet. Everybody going to and fro. Itching ears, everybody going out. You know, many times people have been teaching people, and then all of a sudden don't see people, and then they come back trying to teach me. Hearing from other people, tossed about to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine because they refuse to be assembled in the Most High's assembly. By the sleight of men, so men trick them, and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love. Speaking what? Truth. In love. May grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach. So this is all, what a great thing here. People, you can read this over. Because I cannot do justice to it. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach. So for us to have the likeness of Hamashiach, we have to grow in this system, in his body, which is the assembly. From whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, make increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. Why this man named Shaul? What a brilliant man. So we are brought into the likeness of a Mashiach, from whom the whole body is, every different piece just fits together and compacted together, which every joint supplied. So me joining with you and you joining with me, we are compacted together and everything fits together, and then everything will effectually work together. Every single part working together will make increase of the entire body, and the entire body will be edified by the working of all unto the edifying of the entire body in love. Wow. Shaul. Hebrews 13, 7-9. And by the way, I was speaking with someone a few days ago. And when the question the person asked, it was these verses that came out. And I had to show the person. And this is a confirmation of the Most High. So you might hear these verses before, but the Most High wants you to hear them. And when the person started, as soon as the person started talking, I knew this was it. And when I showed the person, the person actually was speaking about learning, about learn. And I said to the person, I'm going to show you what I have prepared for Shabbat. This was about Thursday. I'm going to show you what I have prepared for Shabbat. You remember the word that you just said? Learn. And then you remember the verses that I just showed you? Here they are. Yes? This is confirmation. So people, listen to this. Hebrews 13, I don't know who needs to hear it. Hebrews 13, 7 to 9. You have heard them before, but the Most High wants you to hear them again. Remember them which have the rule over you. Now we keep saying every single week, if you are single and by yourself and a renegade, who has the rule over you? Because the meaning of rule over you, rule over there, look at the meaning of rule over, is hagemon, whatever Greek, strengthened form of G71 to lead. That is command with official authority. So this person who the Most High has given official authority over you to lead you, what does it say you are to do with them? Verse 7. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of Alua, whose faith follow. So the Most High puts you together in assemblies with people, with leaders who are going to have exemplary faith that you should follow. If you have a leader, my people, and that leader is not manifesting of exemplary faith, then how can you follow his faith? Considering the end of their conversation there means behavior. So they must have exemplary behavior. That is why if you have a leader who does not have exemplary behavior, get rid of him. Find a leader with exemplary behavior. Why? True leaders, the Most High takes them and whips them into shape. True leaders are sacrifices for you. Those who are being led, you are fortunate, because the Most High has taken leaders and whipped them into shape. And when I say whipped, I mean the leaders, the true leaders, they will lead some of the roughest lives that you can ever imagine. Their lives will not be pleasant. In order to get them into shape, that they will not be hypocrites, that they will have strong faith, and that their behavior will be exemplary, so that when they are leading you, you will have an example to follow. Now, if you go anywhere and there's a leader, and each week I'm telling you, giving you tips on how to find and what to look for in a true leader, a set apart chosen leader of the Most High. If you are going somewhere and that person does not have exemplary behavior, how can you watch with that person? Because that person will be caught up in what? All sorts of drunkenness. Remember, you have to watch and be sober. So who you are watching with has to be sober. So how can you be following people who are caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon? How can you be watching and sober with someone who is not sober? So you are there saying that you want to be sober and your leader is leading you into drunkenness. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of Alua, whose faith follow, considering the end of their conversation, their behavior. Conversation here means behavior. Yahusha HaMashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines. There we go. If you have somebody that is leading you, you have to look if the doctrine is diverse and strange. Let's look at the meaning. That is manifold, various in character. That means the person is all over the place. You know, today somebody accused me of being all over the place. That conversation I had today. And here's why the person said I was all over the place. the person, and I need to explain this today and declare it here today for those who are watching. The person asked me something about the fire in Los Angeles while it was going on. And I said, I don't follow up on the news or anything. Then one day, the Ruach showed something to me about the fire, that I have to speak about it. And I spoke about it. The person said that I'm contrary, I'm conflicting, not understanding. And I'm going to tell all of you this. In the book of the Shepherd of Hermas, it tells you that a prophet of the Most High, not that I'm calling myself a prophet, but understand what it's saying. It says a prophet of the Most High cannot be consulted. I am not someone you can come with a question at any time and bam, I have all the answers. I am not a Christian pastor. It's the Ruach that speaks to me and tells me when to answer. You will ask me no, and I don't even know how to answer. And the Ruach will just come at the time, especially when we are gathered together. And the Ruach will pour out his understanding on me. So at the time when she asked me, she was consulting me like an encyclopedia. And I tell people, and I'm declaring to people here, I don't want you to think I'm puffed up or anything. This is not pride, because I'm a dirty man, as I tell you. I'm a dirty man. I'm not anybody good. I'm nothing good. Nobody deserving anything. I'm garbage. But I am telling you, do not come to me like I am an encyclopedia. The word says in Hermas, the prophet of Yahweh cannot be consulted. But when the assembly comes together, that Ruach will speak to that man. That is how I operate. And people realize that, Yahweh is giving me some words. So every difficult thing that they cannot, people are throwing things at me. People don't come with that. I'm not going to answer most of them. Why? Yahuwah's way is not a riddle thing that you know this riddle. Oh, I know this one. Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know this one. Oh, I know that one. No. He says, you shall seek me and find me when you shall search for me with all your heart. What does it make sense? You have somebody here, and everything you want to know, you go to the person and ask the person. That doesn't make any sense. How are you going to develop? The things that we teach here are things that you can learn now, and when you go, you have a foundation on which to build for the rest of the week, and you can receive insights for yourself from what we have told you. We also have an arsenal of 360 or 50 videos now that you can search through and find for yourself. We have over 300 articles on our websites that you can search through and find for yourself. We have a 24/7 online radio that you can listen to and find the word for yourself. We have done what we are to do. We are not here to answer every single question that you ask. I am not an encyclopedia. I'm just a little idiot around here. Nobody, nothing. Yeah? Anyway, was that a rant? What they call a rant? Hebrews 30:7-9. Where was I? Yes. Be not carried away with diverse and strange doctrines. So this is what prevents you from being carried about with strange doctrines. Those who have the rule over you, who are sent by the Most High. They will steer you away from diverse and strange doctrines. For it is a good thing that the heart be established with favor, not with food or meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. So let's go now to verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you. Obey them. Verse 7 says, remember them. But verse 17 goes a little further and says, obey them that have the official authority to lead you. And submit yourselves unto them, because when you submit unto them, you're submitting to the Most High. Many people, pastors use all of these things. The problem with this is that many of our people have come through Christianity. Let me say a little thing on this. Many of our people have come through Christianity, and pastors have used this and abused them. You have to know who is led by the Most High. By their fruits you shall know them. Because people can use this and abuse you. So I'm not saying this to everybody. And let me tell you something again. I was speaking today about Christianity. We who come into the way, we act as if everything in Christianity is wrong. That is not so. When we were in Christianity, we were givers. Many of us come into the way now and we become mean, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Stingy. We don't want to give anything. Why? Because that was our heart before, but Christianity made us feel that if we don't give, well, such and such. Now you know, guess what? No more tithe. You become stingy. Order in the assembly. Christianity has the order in the assembly. People respect the pastor and his order. When we come out of Christianity, all of a sudden we become renegades, disorderly. Yeah, Christianity, we were subject to the pastor, and we never listened, and we had to listen, and we had to do this, and now we know. No, you're wrong. The Most High made us go into Christianity because there are things in Christianity that we would learn in our captivity, so that when He gives us the word of truth and we awaken, it is easy for us to walk in the truth. I started out in Christianity and I learned a lot of order and structure in Christianity as the foundation. And I don't throw them away. Why? The word says, what does 1 Thessalonians 5:21 say? Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. So I have to know what is good from Christianity. I have to know that which is good and hold on to it. But the problem we reject everything and we become renegades and we start setting up our own doctrine, start to live our own thing and do our own thing, and whatever we feel, we do it. And when we come together now in an assembly with a leader, we do not respect the person because we throw away the respect from Christianity. Rebellious, we become rebellious. Followers of the way. Some of the worst believers are followers of the way. Why? What you learned along the way, you threw them away. Did you know that even the covenants that the Most High gave us, each covenant is progressive? Just like in our belief. You move from faith to faith. Covenant, you had the Noahide covenant. You have the Sabbath covenant, the Noahide covenant, the Abrahamic covenant. You have the Torah covenant. You have the Yahusha covenant. Each one of them, you took some things from each one of them. Every one of them, you took something moving forward onto the heights of Hamashiach, onto the perfection. It's the same thing with us as believers. When you are in assemblies, you take what is good that was behind and you throw that which is bad. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, and you move forward. Anyway, verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you. Nobody wants to obey the leader because they learned that the Christian teachers were abusing them in terms of money and manipulating them and this and that. So when they come out, they don't want to obey anyone. But being disobedient, being disobedient, Titus 1, verse 16. Verse 15, unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know Alua. How can you know Alua and you cannot obey them that have the rule over you? They profess that they know Alua, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient. And unto every good work reprobate. And when you're disobedient, every good work you're going to be reprobate. Yes? And when that happens, Hamashiach now, remember we're talking about the Ruach Hamashiach, will become your stumbling stone. 1 Peter 2:8. Verse 7. Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, you refuse to obey them that have the rule over you, that the Most High has given to lead you. Unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. So Yahushua HaMashiach being in charge of the assembly, and he has given people to have the rule over you, when you disobey them, the same HaMashiach that you are saying is your master now becomes a stumbling stone, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense unto them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. I'm telling you. Let me go back then. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves. Submit yourselves. What does it mean to submit? To submit means to yield, be weak, to surrender. So you surrender yourself to those who the Most High has given to have the rule over you, as they that must give an account, for they watch for your souls. This is our job. Our job is to have sleepless nights about your souls. Our job is to watch for your souls, as they that must give account, because we have to give an account to the Most High. Remember what Hamashiach just told us about the steward, that if he comes and see the steward sleeping, what's going to happen? And when find the porter drunken and beating the servants, what is he going to do to them? They must give an account. So us who are leading, we have a very dangerous task. Very difficult task. Our task is your salvation, your souls. And we have to do the best that we can to ensure that we watch for your souls, because we are going to have to give an account for what we did with your soul. That they may do it with joy. So you know, you have to give account as well. Because if you make our jobs miserable, if you make our jobs grievous, then you are going to have to pay for it. It will not be unprofitable for you. Pray for us, for we trust we have a good conscience in all things, willing to live honestly. So you have to know to judge those who have the rule over you. Hebrews 13:20-21, and I think this should end it today. Now the Elohim of peace that brought again from the dead our Master Yahusha, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant, make you perfect in every good work, to do his will, working in you that which is well-pleasing in his sight, through Yahusha HaMashiach, to whom be splendor forever and ever. So be it. So Yahusha HaMashiach uses us, the leaders, to watch over you, so you can watch for his coming and you can be ready at his appearance. But if we will not watch, we spoke today about watching, about guarding his commandments, about being discreet, of guarding it with thorns, as it were, of being sentries, of having our swords guarding. If we do not watch, what will happen? Revelation 6, 15. And it says, I come as a thief. Barak is he that watcheth, and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. I come as a thief. That is what I tell you. When he says he comes as a thief, don't think that this is only speaking about his appearing. I come as a thief is speaking about Ruach HaMashiach that can be executed anytime on this earth to anyone. Barak is he that watcheth. Are you watching? And keepeth his garments, keep your garments white, which means you keep yourself in righteousness, you keep yourself straight, you are sober, not caught up in the drunkenness, not being drunken in the night, not being drunken in sin, so that your garments are dirty. Yes? But you are awake in the day, so that your garment is clean, so that you are not walking naked, so that you are not walking in sin, and everyone can see your sinfulness. So if you will not watch, Yahusha is going to come as a thief. Suddenly, man oh man, have I seen all of these things that I'm teaching today in action. You never understand why I'm trying to rivet in your head. I come as a thief. Barak is he that watcheth. Ruach HaMashiach does not play. Let me get my ugly self from here. Revelation 3:3. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. Remember how thou hast received and what? Heard. And hold fast and repent. So when you hear and it comes inside your ear and you end up learning, you have to fear Yahuwah. And when you fear Yahuwah, you will hold fast on what you have heard and you will repent. When you repent, you are now able to do that which is right in his sight. You are able to do Yahuwah's will. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief. You see it again? And he's not going to come in person. He's going to come through Ruach HaMashiach. When the Most High gave me that dream, man, it opened a floodgate of understanding that I never had before. Pardon me, people, if you had this understanding, but I'm telling you, a floodgate. If thou therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. This has been my experience. This is real. You never know. My people, what can I say? Watch. Are you watching? You had better watch. And if we watch, then we are good. Yes? But you cannot watch and be caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon. Every week we talk about fleeing out of the midst of Babylon and coming out of Babylon. And people have all sorts of things. You have no idea how perfection. You cannot be perfect. Caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon in this end time. Because you have to look at the dispensation that we are in. We are at the end of the age, and certain things are required at the end of the age. It was okay before this for us to be in Babylon and go. But he says, no. Flee. Now is the time for Babylon to be destroyed. Now is the time. Watch. If you are watching, you will be able to hear, learn to fear Yahuwah, and to undertake to do his will. You'll be able to receive his wisdom, his knowledge, and his understanding. You'll be able to hold his ruach and not despise his ruach. You'll be willing not to quench his ruach. You'll be able to be awake and not be sleeping. You will be able to not be caught unawares. You will be able to come out of the drunkenness of Babylon. You will be able to walk in perfection. You will be able to not blaspheme Ruach and get yourself in trouble. You'll be able to do so many things if you just watch. Guard his word. Shore up his word. Be standing with your knives, with your swords, which is the word, to protect the Messiah, to protect his word, to protect his will. Do not be caught unawares. Do not be drunken in the night. Do not be drunken in sin. Do not be caught up in the sinfulness of Babylon. Do not be caught up in the drunkenness of Babylon. Watch and be sober. You cannot be watching and be drunken. That is not watching. Watch and be sober. Watch and take yourself out of the drunkenness of Babylon. Or else Hamashiach will come upon you as a thief. Let me get back to it. If you don't do all the things that I just said, if you will not watch, behold, I come as a thief. Barak is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Yada Yahuwah, Yada Yahuwah, Yada Yahuwah. All praises to the Most High, the great Yahuwah Sabaoth. All honor due to his son, Yahusha HaMashiach, and the power that has been given him through Ruach HaKadosh. All praises due to the great almighty power, the great creator of the heavens and the earth, my Father, our Father, I hope, Yahuwah Sabaoth. All praises to his name. All right, any questions? Any questions or whatever on YouTube? That is good. That is good. All right. 8:28, 6:28, 5:30, 3.5 hours. Why I was talking a long time. Only hope you got something out of this. Yada Yahuwah. Only hope you got something out of it. Let me check YouTube and see if there's anything on it. Someone said after teaching, I need insight on being immersed. What kind of insight do you need on being immersed? All right. All right. Messages, please, if you have any question. There are pastors that don't teach it like some pastors just want money and teach the word. It's only part truth and hype crap. That is why I left the church, because it ran like a business. What saddens my heart is for people who sincerely believe they are in the way and are not. Is there a favor the Most I have for those that are sincere? It's part to do with the Most High. The Most High calls us, but then it's our heart. He will not do everything for us. He calls us, and then we have to give up. That's why Hamashiach said, if any man come after me, let him what? Deny himself. We now have to deny ourselves in order to follow him. We cannot follow the Most High and not have ourselves denied. Impossible. Impossible. We have to deny ourselves to follow him. All right. A lot of people in Christianity worship their pastors more than the Most High. I witnessed someone bowing to the pastor. Oh. Says Isaiah 49:26 is already happening at McDonald's and other fast food places. What was Isaiah 49:26 again? Isaiah 49:26. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I am Yahuwah. I'm thy Savior, I'm thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. I mean, human meat, I think you're talking about. Someone says gather together, but the problems are the snares. The believers are worse than the non-believers at this point. I totally agree. Believers, hey. That is why the Most High commanded us to teach our children who know nothing. Believers, people who think they are believers, worst. If you're gathered together with the wrong people, that's a hell that you're calling for. Hell. The Ruach was telling me about readiness at all times, about Yahusha's return. Yesterday, while I was preparing for my family that was returning from their trip, I feel urgency more than before in my SP, whatever that is. All right. How do you know without a doubt that you have Ruach or Mashiach? When you have Ruach Mashiach, you can walk in the Ruach and not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So everything that you'll be walking after is righteousness. Your flesh will not have rule over you. All right? And you'll be able to walk in the Ruach. It's not going up and down and speaking all sorts of gibberish. And there's more to it. And then you will have the desire, it is righteousness and the way and the will of Yahuwah that will be your righteousness. You will not love the world. You will not have the ways of the world. You will be kind of like a reject from the world. You will be kind of different from the world. And the Most High will be the one that is actually leading you in all that you do. You will not be led by your desires. You will be led by the Ruach. John 3:38 tells you how it is to be born of the Ruach. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and you know not from whence it cometh. So it is with everyone who is born of the Ruach. Not only that, it's a whole other combination of things. You will be walking in the fruit of the Ruach. Yes? Love, joy, whatever, all of those. Patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness. All of those you will be walking in all of them. I only hope I have all of them covered, but it's a combination of several things. Your desire will not be of this world. Number one, because it says, love not the world. You will not love the world. That's another indicator. Love not the world, neither the things of the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So, you will not love this world. Yeah. Why so many of even Yashua do not understand the day is 12 hours, not even to even? Because we had been deceived and not many people are searching. How about sin? I-G, by being provoked? I don't know what that means. You cannot speak to me in internet slang. I don't know them. You'd have to speak to me in plain English. I don't know what I-G means. All right. I don't know what it means. Being provoked to sin, are you forgiven? It says all manner of sin among men can be forgiven, except blasphemy against Ruach HaKadosh. So I don't know if that answers your question. If someone provokes you to sin, you have not blasphemed Ruach HaKadosh. I feel hopeless when I keep the Sabbath and family say God loves everyone. I tell him he does not. Am I wrong? I don't know what you mean by that. Your questions are so confusing. If you're asking a question, just please ask a straight question. I feel hopeless when I keep the Sabbath and family say God loves everyone. I tell him he does not. No. He does not. Am I wrong? Please just ask one question, please. I'm not a young boy. I just did 3+ hours. My brain cannot decipher the riddles. I asked about being provoked to sin. Oh, Brew Gulp, I think I explained that. So I think Mavis, what is she saying? How can you feel hopeless when you keep the Shabbat? And it is a commandment of the Most High. Because you're family. The Most High told you already that He will put family against family. So if the family does not obey the Most High, you don't care about that. When I was keeping family, I was only keeping the family initially with my son and my daughter. Nobody else wanted to keep it. When my son got older, he left. It was only my daughter. So you're obeying the Most High. You don't care about anybody else when it comes to start feel hopeless. Come on. Anyway, I think that should be it. Let me go and see if there's any in the Zoom chat here. All right. Let me see if there's any in the Zoom chat. Then I'll get back to YouTube. If there are not any on YouTube, then we will exit. Isaiah 26:9, when thy judgments are in the earth, implies timing. Can Kazak explain the timing? Isaiah 26:9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night, yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. This can actually mean the end times, but it can also mean any time. Remember the CV. Remember the disease that was upon this earth, and I mentioned it earlier. That was when many people turned to the Most High. Yes? That was one of his judgments, because in Isaiah 10 verses 22 and Isaiah 28:22, it tells us that the Most High would send a consumption even determined upon the face of the earth. That was the consumption that the Most High sent. And when he sent it, he says the consumption determined will overflow with righteousness. So when the consumption was sent, that was when many people turned to righteousness. But it can also mean in the end. But at the end, the people of this earth will not be able to turn to righteousness at the end of the earth, because it will be a final judgment. So it's more talking about taking place in this earth when the Most High sends his judgment in the earth. When you spoke about protecting his name, does that have to do anything with Revelation 19:13? Let me see what it is. When you speak about protecting his name, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the word of Alua. No, that's not what I was referring to. Ziona asked, if where you are from, you have limited access to the internet or to teachers, what do you do as a woman? The Most High is the one that is in charge, yeah? Is in charge, yeah? And He will provide. Let me show you something that the Most High said. Papa. Bam, bam. Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43. Let me get this thing. Behold, I will do a new thing, verse 19. Now it shall spring forth, shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So, the Most High will find a way if that person is diligently seeking the Most High. Yes? If that person is diligently seeking the Most High will find a way for them. So a lot of things, Ziona, we look on it as if we want proof for everything. This is a walk of M&R. So if someone is diligently seeking the Most High will provide a way for them. So they don't have internet, they don't have male leaders, the Most High will provide it for them. Okay? All right, so let me get back and close off YouTube. Where am I again? YouTube. Oh, yeah. Let me see if there are any more. Suppose I'm the only one keeping Shabbat in the home. How to approach this after I shared it so many times, what must be done? If you're the only one keeping Shabbat in the home, you do what you have to do. The Most High says he comes to put a sword, to put people against each other. You have to seek out righteousness. And righteousness sometimes comes through perseverance, through hardships, through pressures, and the Most High will sometimes leave that for you so that you can be perfected. So that you can be perfected. What is the true way to marriage, to marry? Declare to Yahweh the traditional ways of men. Go to the book of Tobit. It is there in Tobit you will see the way of the Most High in marriage. If you are provoked to sin and sin, you will be held accountable. The word says, be sin and angry not. If you provoke to sin, yes, whatever sin you do, you are accountable. But the person was asking about forgiveness, not accountability. We are accountable for every sin, but he was asking whether now being accountable, whether or not you will be forgiven. Yes? What I'm saying is that my family says his name is Yahusha, but they say Jesus. You cannot have control over a family member. Everybody has their own heart. You have to make sure that you do what you have to do. Yes, it's going to hurt you because of what they're doing, but what can you do? You cannot force. You can bring the horse to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink. Focus on your salvation. The problem with most of us is that when we come into the way, we are so zealous, yes, which is natural, we focus more on other people than focus on ourselves. And we end up falling short and end up draining ourselves instead of concentrating on moving forward so that we can be an inspiration to the people who we are trying to lead. So we are at a certain position. We want to grab people where we are. No, we have to leave them and move up so that in moving up, we can actually maybe one day pull them up. Yeah. All right. Somebody says, does salvation? Are you just throwing up these words? Why do you want to know this question? Does salvation come if I don't keep the Shabbat? The Shabbat is a sign between Yahuwah and his people. The word just said, if you sin willfully after you have received knowledge of the truth, there remains no more sacrifice for sin. The Torah tells you that you must not break the commandment. We did today, all we went through, Dane, was the importance of obeying the commandments, and we did it last week. If we obey the commandments, then the Father will love us, and the Son will love us, and they will make their abode in us. Now, if we don't keep their commandments, how will this Father love us when the Father told us that, let me get the exact words because I can't remember it, in Exodus 20. The early part of it. Let me get it. Exodus 20, early part, it says, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah thy Eluah, am a jealous Eluah, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Let's see who hates him. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So those who keep his commandments, he says they love him. Am I showing? Let me show it. Let me get it. Those who keep his commandments, they say they love him. But those who don't keep his commandments, he says they hate him. And what is there for them? Salvation? No. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them. Yahuwah does not play. So reject the Shabbat. You're out of it. Reject the Shabbat. You're out of it. No salvation. A lot of people are going to argue this and everything. I'm telling you. Reject the Shabbat. You have to look at the breakdowns. Hamashiach said, let's go to back to John 14. It's a breaking down these things. We get insights. If ye love me, keep my commandments. A prerequisite of receiving Ruach HaKadosh is keeping his commandments. If ye love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. So if you don't keep his commandments, yes? And Yahushua Mashiach had said earlier, no, verse 21 says, he that keepeth my commandments and hath my commandments and keep them, he it is that loveth me, and he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself unto him. So without keeping Yahushua's commandments, and without keeping his words, his Father and him will not dwell in us. Verse 23. Very, very important. In verse 10 it was. Where is it? Verse 10 here? Bam, 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 15. It says, verse 10, if ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandment and abide in his love. Therefore, how can you keep Yahushua's commandments if you are not keeping his Father's commandments? Notice he says, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. So to abide in the Father's love is to keep his commandments. So if you don't keep the Sabbath, how can you abide in the Father's love? How? Anyway, I think that should do it. All right, all praises to the Most High. All right, thank you all for on YouTube. Thank you all for being here with us. Please like, share, and share and comment on our videos and our teachings. All right, remember our website. Justtheword.org. Justtheword.org. That is our headquarters. And don't forget, if you want radio to listen to, 24/7 radio. If you don't have enough, remember jawradio.org. And of course, you can listen to Jaw Radio on justtheword.org. Yes? Justtheword.org has all our teachings. The radio is there. All our videos are there. Our written articles are there. Bible studies, everything that you need. One-stop shop for every single thing that you need. Yada Yahuwah. All right, somebody asked about donating. Let me just give you the link. That is the link, and it has a password. Password, here is the password coming up. And it will give you the different options as to how to donate. All right, so thank you all for watching here on YouTube and on Facebook and on Rumble. Thank you all, and shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. Watch and be sober. Find your teacher. Stop being a renegade outlaw all over the place. Stop with that itching ears. Know your teacher. You must, after listening to us for a while, know how to find a true, set-apart, chosen teacher. Find your teacher. All right? Sharp, sharp. Shalom.